You remember how Volume 1 ended. Prince Andrei Bolkonsky, lying on his back at Austerlitz, staring at that infinite, indifferent sky. He had worshipped Napoleon like a god. Then he realized, the god was nothing. The sky was everything. His ambition, his wife back home, his cruel father, all of it dissolved. When Volume 1 closed, Andrei was hollowed out. He returned to his estate and buried himself alive. He told himself, no more war, no more glory. He would live only for himself and his son. He built a prison of solitude and called it peace. But Volume 2 opens with a knock on that prison door. The knock comes from a girl named Natasha Rostova, a girl who has never been hollow a single day in her life. It happens on a spring night at Andrei's estate, Otradnoy. He cannot sleep. He opens his window. The night is warm, the trees are budding, and somewhere above him, a young girl's voice floats through the darkness. It is Natasha. She is talking to her cousin about the beauty of the moon. I cannot sleep, she says. There has never been such a ravishing night. Andrei listens. And something stirs in his frozen chest. He looks up at the sky, not the cold, indifferent sky of Austerlitz, but a soft, alive, spring sky. He asks himself, spring, love, happiness. Are you still clinging to these deceptive illusions? Then he answers his own question. No, my life cannot be finished at 31. It must reflect upon them all. In that moment, Andrei decides he will not fade away. He will rejoin the living. He will go to Petersburg. He will open his heart again, even if it breaks. That ballroom. Crystal chandeliers. White gloves. The soft rustle of silk. Natasha is 16, and she has never been to a ball. She stands against the wall, flushed, trembling, on the verge of tears, because no one has asked her to dance. She feels invisible. That is Natasha, she lives entirely through her feelings. When she is happy, the world shines. When she is humiliated, the world ends. Then Andrei walks across the ballroom. He is bored, cold, expecting nothing. But he sees this girl, awkward, painfully alive, and something cracks in his chest. He asks her to waltz. She looks up. Her fear vanishes. She puts her hand in his. And they dance. Natasha does not perform. She does not calculate. She surrenders to the music, to the room, to the feeling of being held. And Andrei, who has buried himself in solitude for years, feels his walls fall. He feels her breath, her youth, her absolute presence. In that waltz, Andrei Bolkonsky falls in love. Not with an idea. With her. Right there. Natasha does not know what is happening inside him. She only knows she is no longer invisible. She is dancing. She is connected, to the music, to the room, to every person watching. That is Natasha's gift, she makes her environment her own by feeling it completely. He will seek her out. He will ask her to marry him. And she will say yes. But before the engagement, before the disaster, something else happens. Natasha leaves the glitter of St. Petersburg and returns to the countryside. She goes hunting, a real hunt, with wolves, horses, frost on the grass. She rides astride, her hair flying, her cheeks red with cold. She screams with excitement when the dogs catch a wolf. She forgets to be proper. She is just a Russian girl in the Russian forest, alive and wild. After the hunt, she visits her uncle. He is a minor landowner, living in a simple wooden house. He plays the balalaika, not a concert instrument, just 3 strings. Natasha has been trained in French music and Italian arias, but when she hears that rough, simple melody, something stirs in her chest. She stands up. She begins to dance. And here is the miracle, she has never learned this dance. But her body knows it. Her blood knows it. She moves as if she has been dancing this way for 1,000 years. Her uncle watches, tears in his eyes. The servants watch, smiling. This is not a performance. This is Natasha connecting to something older than ballrooms, older than Napoleon, the Russian soul. Raw, earthy, unbreakable. When the invasion comes, when Moscow burns, it will not be the generals who save Russia. It will be this spirit. The spirit Natasha just found in a simple dance. Now comes the disaster. Andrei's father imposes a cruel condition: the engagement must last a full year. Andrei must go abroad to heal his health. Natasha must wait. She agrees. She promises. But Andrei's letters are cold, distant, philosophical. He does not understand that a girl like Natasha cannot live in the future. She lives in the now. And in the now, she is lonely, restless, bored. Then Anatole Kuragin arrives in Moscow. He is beautiful, rich, charming, and completely empty. He is already secretly married, but he does not mention that. He sees Natasha at the opera. He decides she will be his next conquest. The seduction is swift. He looks at her with hungry, empty eyes. He whispers in hallways. He sends passionate letters. He tells her he will die without her. And Natasha, starved for attention, believes him. She forgets her engagement. She forgets her family. She agrees to run away with him, a secret abduction, a carriage, a false priest. Her cousin Sonia discovers the plot, but Natasha screams at her. She is blind. She is drowning. The night of the abduction comes. The carriage waits outside. But the plan fails. The family's servants intercept it. Anatole flees. Natasha is found, humiliated, half-dressed, trembling. She has destroyed her reputation. She has betrayed the man who loved her. And she realizes, in horror, that Anatole never loved her at all. He was bored. She was entertainment. She tries to poison herself. She falls violently ill. Prince Andrei, when he hears the news, does not forgive her. He returns her letters. He says, "I cannot forgive. She chose him." Natasha is left broken, alone, waiting for death. While Natasha lies broken, Pierre Bezukhov visits her. He sees her tears. He hears her whispers of shame. And something shifts inside him. Not romantic love, something larger. Cosmic. He looks at this destroyed girl and feels a wave of tenderness so vast that it lifts him out of his own darkness. He had been drowning in Freemason rituals, in philosophical debates, in the emptiness of his marriage. But in this moment, watching a girl weep, he understands, love is not a system. Love is not a handshake. Love is this, the simple, overwhelming recognition that another person's suffering matters more than your own. Pierre leaves her house that night a different man. His spiritual darkness lifts. He breathes. Then he looks up at the sky. There is a comet, huge, bright, crossing the heavens. In 1812, everyone in Russia believes the comet is a sign, the apocalypse, the number 666, the end of the world. And indeed, Napoleon is already marching his army toward the Russian border. Here is the connection: at the exact moment Pierre experiences personal rebirth, the artificial peace of Europe collapses. The comet does not cause the war. But it marks the moment when everything changes. Pierre's soul and the Russian Empire are both about to be broken open. One by love. The other by fire. Now meet three men who believe they can control reality. Speransky is a reformer, a brilliant administrator. He sits in a clean office writing decrees. He believes that if he changes the laws, he can change the Russian soul. Fuel is a German general. He draws defensive lines on maps with obsessive precision. He believes war is a math problem, solve the equation, win the battle. Davout is Napoleon's marshal. He sits on a barrel in a barn, crunching logistical numbers, how many loaves of bread, how many rounds of ammunition. He believes that if the numbers add up, the army will obey. All three share the same illusion, that control is possible. Then the war begins. The ground turns to mud. Soldiers are exhausted, hungry, terrified. Orders arrive late. Messages get lost. Men run when they should stand, stand when they should run. The beautiful lines on Fuel's map have nothing to do with the swamp where soldiers are drowning. Speransky's decrees do not reach the villages that are burning. Davout's logistics collapse the moment a bridge breaks. The science of war is an illusion. Military reality is not dictated by the genius of commanders. It is dictated by the unpredictable, collective spirit of 100,000 terrified men fighting in the mud. Watch the masks come off. On one side, the actors. Napoleon paces in his tent, delivering rehearsed monologues about his own greatness. Murat, the king of Naples, rides into battle dressed in a red velvet cloak, gold braid, and multicolored plumes, posing like a conqueror. Anatole treats seduction as a sport, abduction as a game, consequences as something that happens to other people. They believe the spotlight is on them. They believe history is watching. On the other side, the realists. Russian soldiers bathe naked in a muddy pond, reduced to white flesh and muscle, cannon fodder preparing for the slaughter. No costumes. No speeches. Just raw survival. And old Prince Bolkonsky, Andrei's father, the tyrant of Bald Hills, now lies paralyzed in his bed. He cannot lift his hand. He cannot command. He stares at the ceiling, experiencing the terrifying, unglamorous reality of death. The closer you get to the true engine of history, whether a battlefield or a deathbed, the more the theatrical costumes fall away. The actors believe they are making history. The realists know they are just surviving it. The invasion begins. Napoleon's army marches into Russia. A merchant named Ferapontov stands outside his own inn as cannonballs fly over his roof. His bolts of cloth, his barrels of herring, a lifetime of wealth, become worthless in seconds. Then he does something strange. He screams, "Burn it! Burn everything! Do not leave a single nail for them." At Smolensk, soldiers and civilians throw hay onto the burning remains of their own homes. They are not fighting the fire. They are feeding it. They would rather own the flames than hand the ashes to Napoleon. This is not patriotism. This is something older, hell repulsed by hell. And then there is Alpatych, an old steward, a man of order. For 40 years, he has kept the ledgers, managed the harvest, believed in the slow rhythm of agricultural life. Now he watches the Russian army retreat in chaos. Horses trample the wheat. Men run past carrying nothing. In one afternoon, a lifetime of order is erased. Alpatych does not weep. He just stares. The systematic logic of society completely breaks down, replaced by a primitive, unified instinct, burn the earth rather than yield it. So who caused all of this? Who burned Moscow? Who lost the war? The easy answer is Napoleon. Or Tsar Alexander. The novel gives a harder answer: no one. Great men are merely the labels of history. They give their names to events, but have as little connection to those events as a weather vane has to the wind. Napoleon did not orchestrate the fire. Alexander did not stop it. The tragedy of 1812 was not conducted by geniuses or fools. It was a deterministic avalanche, a collision of millions of individual wills, terrors, desires, panics, and hopes, dragging the entire world into an inevitable, apocalyptic fire. Andrei, Pierre, Natasha, Ferapontov, Alpatych, the soldiers, the generals, Napoleon himself, none of them controlled the avalanche. Every single one of them was the avalanche. That is the final truth of Volume 2. History does not have a director. It has millions of actors, none of whom know their lines. Thank you for watching this summary of Volume 2. I hope it has made you feel the greatness of this novel. Stay tuned for the final summary of Volume 3, where Moscow burns, Napoleon stands at the gates, and every character you love is pushed to the edge of death and beyond.